All right, let's get into it. We're talking about a massive, high-stakes race, one that's happening right behind the curtain of every single online store. It's a tech showdown, and believe me, there's a surprise winner. The big question is, which database really comes out on top in the wild world of e-commerce?
Just think about the last time you bought something online. You click that Buy Now button, and boom, you get that satisfying confirmation. It feels totally instant, doesn't it? But what's really going on behind that slick, seamless experience? Well, it's something pretty incredible.
Yeah, with that one click, you've basically just fired the starting gun on a massive data race. A race to process your order, to update the store's inventory, to manage your info, and it all has to be flawless. So in this supercritical race, who actually wins? Who crosses that finish line first? Well, let's find out.
Okay, so to really get what this race is about, you first got to understand the racetrack itself. And when we're talking e-commerce, that track, it's not just big, it's a full-blown, ever-growing tsunami of data.
The explosion in online shopping has thrown a huge challenge at businesses. They're trying to manage these just mind-boggling amounts of data. We're talking everything from every single product you look at to every single purchase. And here's the kicker. It all has to be lightning fast, super reliable, and totally secure.
Now, if you ask around, the conventional wisdom, the story you'll hear from a lot of the experts, is that these modern, super flexible databases, the ones called No-SQL, are the clear answer. They're built for big data, right? For all that variety. But is that really the whole story? Well, some researchers decided to put that exact assumption to the test.
And that brings us to the starting line. So, let's meet the 5 main contenders in this tech race, each one representing a totally different way of handling data. So you can basically break the database world down into 2 big camps. In one corner, you've got the traditional relational databases, SQL. The easiest way to think about them is like a perfectly organized spreadsheet. Everything has its place, very structured. And in the other corner, you have the newer No-SQL databases. This is more like a whole collection of specialized filing cabinets, a diverse crew where each one is designed for a very specific type of information. All right, so to make this a fair fight, the researchers picked a champion from each of the major database models. Representing the traditional relational camp, they picked a heavyweight, Oracle. And then to represent that diverse No-SQL world, they chose 4 different competitors. Each one has its own special skill, whether it's handling complex relationships or just providing crazy fast access to data.
So the question is, how in the world do you test these radically different technologies against each other fairly? Well, the researchers set up what you could call the ultimate retail showdown. It was a super carefully designed experiment, really meant to see who would crack under pressure.
And here's the playbook. First, they built 2 systems that literally every online retailer relies on. One for managing all the orders, and another for customer relationships, the CRM. Then they loaded each one up with over 1,000 records to make it feel like real-world action. And then came the test. They put all 5 databases through the exact same paces on both systems, and they measured 3 key things. CPU usage, so how much brain power they needed, how fast they were, and how much memory they ate up.
So the stage is set. All the buzz, all the conventional wisdom says the newer, more flexible No-SQL databases should walk away with this, no problem. The big question on everyone's mind is, can the old guard, that traditional, structured relational database, can it even hope to keep up?
And the results? Well, they weren't just interesting. They were flat out surprising. So let's break it down and look at the evidence, one key metric at a time.
First up, let's talk CPU usage. This is basically how much processing power each database was hogging. Take a look at Oracle, the relational one. See how its usage is super low and stable? Now compare that to ArangoDB over here. For some tasks, it literally redlined the CPU. It maxed it out completely. That is a massive difference in efficiency. Okay, next up, speed. And this is a big one. When it came to actually processing orders, which, let's be honest, is probably the most critical job for any online store, Oracle was the undisputed champ. It was just plain faster than the competition at the one thing that keeps the lights on for a retail business. And finally, let's look at memory usage. Now sure, some of the other databases used a bit less memory here and there, but what really jumps out is the consistency. Across every single test for every single metric, one contender just kept showing up, delivering stable, reliable, top-notch performance. So when you put it all together, the crucial takeaway is this: the most consistent, the best all-around performer. It wasn't one of the new, flashy, hyped-up technologies.
Nope. It was the old-school, tried-and-true relational database. This was a total shocker, a direct contradiction to what everyone thought. The 40-year-old technology came out on top.
I mean, what a fascinating result, right? So, why? Why did this seemingly ancient technology beat the pants off the newer, more flexible alternatives in a totally modern e-commerce test?
Well, the answer really boils down to one core concept: data integrity. Now, that might sound a little technical, but it's simple. It's the absolute guarantee that your data is accurate and consistent all the time. For a retailer, this isn't just important, it's everything. It means no lost orders, no messed up payments, and no shipping a package to the wrong address.
And this is exactly why the relational database won. Its entire design is built around protecting that integrity. That strict structure, it forces the data to be consistent. It has built-in rules that literally prevent errors from happening in the first place. They are absolute masters at handling the complex, interconnected web of data that a retail operation depends on. And, well, they've got decades of proof that they're reliable in exactly these kinds of high-stakes situations.
You don't even have to take my word for it. The study's own conclusion really says it all. The researchers found that, yeah, while NoSQL databases are cool for certain jobs, it was the relational database that offered the best all-around balance of performance, reliability, and consistency for the really critical parts of an online store.
And all of this leaves us with one last big thought to chew on. You know, in our constant race for the next big thing, for the newest and shiniest technology, it really makes you wonder, what powerful, proven, and rock-solid tools are we forgetting about? Because sometimes the best solution for the job isn't the newest one. It's the one that's been perfected over time.